Okay, so what would you like to work on?
Okay, let me try to explain you. Um,
Oh, and do you have some water with you? And
I do. Let me go get it really quick. Okay, great.
okay,
So water's here. Okay.
two.
Um, I'll do my best to explain, but it's hard to explain. But anyway, if you don't
Okay,
understand, let me know. I had a aha moment a couple of weeks ago when I was listening to a webinar made by Margaret Lynch on financial stuff, EFT for financial. I just listened to it. I was just tapping halfway and just listening to her. And at one point, she was asking a question like, what do you feel, or what's the feeling of regarding your past history or when you were young about what you learned about money, or what do you think of, or the feeling you have when you think about your financial situation. And what came up, and I think it's a trend in my life with everything I do. It's like the image that popped into my mind was something along, if I was living in a fairy tale all the time, like if the real life is not, is like in my head, I'm having my own world. It's weird the way I say it, but it reminded me that when I was really little, I was constantly playing. Um, I was like when I was alone, I was always thinking that I was somebody else. I was role playing all the time, and I wasn't role playing of being real people. I was always a cartoon, a superhero. I was saving the world. I was doing all these wonderful things. And I realized that even today, in my head, everything is a fairy tale. Like I'm a successful coach. I can do everything. So it's in my head, so I don't have to do it in the real time. I don't know if it's clear or if it's uh, that's the way I can explain it. And it popped into my mind with the financial issue because I was the type of person who I would I have 1 million in my bank account. I can go out and spend all that money and it's in my bank account, but it's not. And then
Mm,
I realized that, oh shit, I don't have the money, and I end up in deep shit. And I'm like, I can tie this thinking with everything in my life. Like I would, in my head, I have everything. I'm successful. I'm wealthy, so I don't have to do it in the real world because it's all there. And it reminds me of when we say that even if it's perceived or real, your brain thinks it's real. So I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit there and dream about all my success and all the
mm,
wonderful thing I have, and it's there. I don't have to do it for real because I live in a fairy tale.
right. But with the law of attraction, you also have to have action, right? So
Yeah. So
you,
I'm missing all the actions.
okay. And why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
Yeah.
I think at some point when I was really young, I don't know if you were watching TV in French when you were little. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was dreaming every day that I was Astro le petit robot. Do you remember that?
I
That
think
young.
that exists in English too.
Oh, maybe. So that's the little robot with the red boots, and he would fly
Or-
everywhere. And I think I built that personality because I was a unhappy kid, and I just wanted to be loved, and I wanted to my life to mean something. So I invented a world inside of me that I'm still living in. Like it's super weird, but this is really how I feel.
Okay, so then you've just given the key, which is you were unhappy. So you were escaping. So
I think,
if
yeah. It was a
so,
coping mechanism to be happy and to find a meaning or a purpose with my life because I was not happy.
but then it makes sense because then it means you're not completely integrating in your life and finding meaning in just in life,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
So you've got to find that that space between the dream world
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
world so that you can integrate them and make your real world that dream world. But there's something inside of you that keeps
Yes.
it the dream world and doesn't really believe that it's possible in the real world.
Yeah.
So, and that's the piece that we have to work on, right?
That's
So
it.
that it
That's it.
becomes reality.
And I remember when I was seeing a psychologist when I was doing my major depression in '07, and I was trying to explain to her that I was feeling that I would walk in the real world, but I was living inside a bubble, like I don't fit anywhere. So I would invent something. I would invent my own happiness because escaping for real, like suicide, not an option for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. So I invent world like, and I'm having the perfect job to do that. I mean, the I don't want to say that on camera, but I will. The military is a great escape
Right.
because you can hide everywhere and still get paid twice a month.
Who escaping from childhood? What are you escaping?
That's a good question. I mean, I was raised in I'd say a good family. My parents are still together. Um, they had they had good jobs. I never lacked anything. I just guess that the only thing that comes to mind,
We worked on something last together. We worked on that feeling shut down, right?
yeah, maybe. I mean, I was never a talking child. I would keep everything inside. I never talked to my mother. I'm not close to my mom. I mean, I see her every week. She's part of my everyday life. I call her every week. I see her often, but I would never. She was never my confidant. Uh, she, I was living things. In school. I wasn't the most popular. I was
Wait,
invisible. I was invisible to everybody. So I
so your
invented my own world.
so your pain is not belonging here,
Maybe not belonging here, or
not wanting to be here, not belonging here.
I remember I don't remember what age I had, but the the number that comes to mind is 10 years old. But I think I was older than that when my father introduced us to church and the Christian religion. And that I remember that I was kneeling in my bed asking for God to come and get me because life was boring.
Mm.
It was just boring. I mean, I wasn't mistreated. I was, yes, of course, in primary school, I wasn't the most popular. I was a bit bullied, but not that much. The only feeling I have from my childhood is just freaking boring. I just I didn't have a model, and I had a hard time understanding what's life, what's love. I did all that by myself by just looking at people, and you're a kid, so you just make models of everything that's around you. I was never asking questions to anybody. I was just living inside of me all the time.
Yeah. And what did we talk about when we had lunch? We talked about. I remember we found something that we could work on specifically. I have some ideas, but do you remember what we talked about?
We talked about.
Parce que tu m'avais mentionné l'affaire de Margaret Lynch.
Ouais,
And then I can't remember where we.
I don't remember.
Okay, so let's go back to. So, okay, so I have an idea of how you felt as a child.
The feeling of childhood is I'm invisible. So I need to create a personality because mine is just nobody's seeing me. I'm just invisible.
Okay. So we could start with that. The other thing is if you go back to today, right? Like just now, and you said you got triggered by the Margaret Lynch stuff about money,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize that you don't have, so you live a certain way as if you have the money,
Right.
but you don't really have it. So how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel it's like I'm
Why is that a
the
problem?
well, because I'm not creating anything in my life. I'm floating. I'm just floating, like waiting for my time to end. Like I'm a dreamer. I can dream of my success, but my feet are not on the ground. I am not grounded at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot put this dream into action because I can just dream about it and that's the life I have.
And why is that a problem?
It's a problem because a part of me knows that I'm dreaming. I mean,
Okay.
I still see that I'm in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have those moments of consciousness that I'm not going in the direction I want to go, like I can dream of success. I can picture myself on stages doing conferences. I can picture myself being a millionaire. I can picture myself being a renowned coach. But until I put the action, it's never going to happen. It's going to stay in my head. As an
And so,
adult, I know that.
so why do you think you're holding back from the action then? Like, what would be an action that you would need to do to move something forward?
Like as for example, for let's say EFT coaching, I need to book clients and practice. I need
Okay.
for my melaleuca.com business, I need to call people to make them listen to the webinar and engage people. But I engage people in my head. I meet all kinds of people in my head. And I talk to
Okay.
them about melaleuca. It's the perfect speech. I'm afraid it's not going to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist. So in
Hmm.
my head it's perfect. I'm afraid that if I do it for real, I'm going to fail. And
Okay, so let's focus on that. So see, there we go. So
and there's a part of me that think that it's not safe to be visible. Maybe I maybe have a couple example of me going forward and it ended bad.
okay, good. I'm just looking for a piece of paper and a pen.
I'm sure I can find some, but I
Ouais, moi aussi. J'ai quelque chose, là, je vais juste écrire ce que tu as dit. Okay.
yeah, I remember doing a series of webinar on weight loss, and I remember one of the participants came forward with an issue, and it's Jessica Hortner weight loss program on tapping solution, and she
Yeah.
started tapping on it's not safe to be seen, and I remember that I started crying.
Yeah.
But it's general. I mean, it's a concept, so yeah.
Okay, so uh, fear of failure.
Fear of failure, fear of being seen. I remember that the biggest moment forward for me after my depression was to realize that my needs were important because everything I was doing before my depression was to please others.
Mm-hmm.
I would be and I would do anything just to please others all the time. My lovers, my friends, my family, everyone.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay, and you know how to tap into past lives because
Yeah.
we did Jenny's workshop together. So if anything comes up, let me know and we'll tap on it. And let's start with what do you think is, what would you like to go to first? The fear of failure or the fear of being seen?
Fear of being seen. I
Okay.
think
And
it's
they'll probably, right?
I think it's the big one.
Okay. I think they'll probably be connected. And the fear of being seen will also have different pieces to it.
Uh-huh.
Ask me, no. Um, but there'll be like the fear, there may be the fear of, the fear of being judged, the fear of being,
Not being
uh,
loved.
oh, okay.
That's my. I mean, it's my mom's wounds that I'm carrying, literally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're seen, you won't be loved?
Maybe maybe I would say something that will hurt someone, or maybe I oh, do I have an example of? I mean, I was doing a bunch of weird stuff when I was a kid. I would do stuff to be loved. Like I would steal. I was a kleptoman. What is it in English?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would steal and break stuff, and I would just to get attention, but I would never get caught. That's,
See, isn't that the interesting thing that you have the fear of being seen, but at the same time you were trying to get attention,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's an interesting,
yeah.
like the two
Because
sides.
I felt invisible.
So where's that? Yeah, but see, this is the thing. One of the big realizations I had at Jenny's workshop last year, when I had my Joan of Arc thing, about my followers getting killed and
Yeah,
that stuff,
yeah, yeah.
is that I think it was around then that I had this huge sort of realization or download that we choose parents according to this, what's in our past lives or our Akash or whatever. You choose parents and families that are going to keep you safe. So even if it feels dangerous and it doesn't feel
Uh-huh,
safe,
uh-huh.
right, this new human life, because it still creates contrast, as Abraham Hicks talks about, right?
Yeah,
But you choose a family that's going to keep you safe by responding to your previous lessons.
yeah.
So my lesson was, or what I came in with, and I don't know if, I'm just getting this as I'm talking because it's not linear, right? Past lives are not necessarily in the past, and
Yeah, they all
I don't,
stack. Yeah.
yeah, no idea what's going on. But um, and I haven't read all of the Cryon stuff on the Akash, so maybe somebody else can give me the answer to this at some point, or I'll find the answer. But the we've had so many other lifetimes with different issues. So in this one, am I going to clear a bunch of lifetime issues, or is there one specific thread that this lifetime is meant to clear? Or you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
when I get to this lifetime and I pick up memories from the Akash, or I'm entangled with issues from another, or this lifetime and that lifetime and that lifetime on that thread, then what determines that I'm picking that up. But whatever that is, however that works, I came in with that it's not safe. The same thing. It's
Yeah.
not safe to be seen, right? It's not safe to be me. It's not safe to be a leader. So I am going to choose a family dynamic that suppresses me.
Yeah.
But then suppression creates creates that contrast because my soul is much bigger than that,
Yeah.
and I'm different. I'm very different from everybody in my family, so that creates a pain, right?
I'm very
So
different for everyone in my family as well.
right.
So
So on the one hand, you're choosing the family that's perfect for you because they're doing what you want, which is to suppress. You know, you're suppressing us because we've chosen that because it's not safe to be who we're supposed to be. Because we're supposed to be something else, it creates that pain, it
yeah,
creates that contrast,
yeah.
and that's where the pain is. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
that's where the duality is. Like I'm afraid to be seen, but deep down inside of me, I really want to be seen. So those are two forces that just pull in the opposite direction, and you just I'm in pain. Just thinking about it, it's suffering.
Yeah. So what is you said you carry your mother's pain. What is that?
Well, uh, my mom is someone that wants to be loved, and she would do things that against her value, but not necessarily against her values, but she has a hard time to say no. um, she would accept things from people that makes her unhappy, but she would do it if it would make others happy. She's been in a relationship with my dad for close to 40 years. They have no sexual life. It took her everything to have two kids. She suppressed her feelings long time ago. She's surviving.
Okay.
She's on this
So
planet because she believed in God, so she would never kill herself. She told me one day, she came to get me at my what?
you know this is going to go out, so I don't want you to. Are you okay with saying all this stuff? Like,
Yeah, yeah. My mom is not geek enough to go find it. So, anyway, I mean, I'm at a place right now that I need to, that's a biggie for me to confront my mother, because she is the one person in life that I'm so afraid to hurt.
but I don't know that you have to confront her. You just have to come to a place where you're at peace with who you are, and therefore you're at peace with other people being who they are. So
I know.
you don't have to confront her. You can let her be who she is.
It's easier said than done, because every time something happens,
But that's why we do this type of work,
yeah, no.
right?
That's a biggie for me. I having arguments with my husband regarding my relationship with my mom. Uh, a lot of
So that,
yeah.
well, there you go. That's another place where we could work. We could work on your feelings about your mother and your relationship with your mother, so that you let that go, that you let that baggage go. You're just like, okay, you can be whoever you want to be, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
But why do I not talk to her about what's important for me? Is because I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt her.
But why do you have to? You can find other people in your life that you can talk to about what's
Oh
important to
no,
you.
yeah, I know, but I would like to.
You can't change her. You
Oh,
can't.
I know
You've got
that.
to.
Yeah.
Do you know? So
But
you have to.
for the sake
You
of
you have to make your peace.
yeah.
So either you allow yourself to approach her and talk to her about the things you want to talk to without worrying about hurting her. And then if it does hurt her for some reason, that you don't own it, or you come to terms with the fact that she's not a person you can talk to about those things for whatever
I
reason.
just want to stop being frustrating all the time, because something happened, or she does something, or I perceive something, and I don't have the guts to tell her that it hurted
Mhm.
me, and I'm frustrated, and I don't accept that in my life.
Oh, you're talking about that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
thought you meant more like things that are happening in your life that you can't share with her. But you're talking about like you pissed me off and I
Yeah.
can't tell you pissed me off. Okay.
Yeah.
I okay. And then it's kind of a chicken and egg thing, because some of the things that piss you off about her might lie in
Yeah.
your
I know.
childhood.
I know. I
You
know.
clearly
And yeah.
father much or yeah, okay.
But
So
if I wasn't afraid to be seen, and I would own who I am, I would not have that problem. Because sometimes after if I go spend an afternoon with my mom and things happens, and then I go back home and I'm in the car and I'm reliving the whole thing, but I respond to her, and then it's never a fight. I just tell, look, mom, you said that, it made me feel that way. It's all about respect. So I do it in my head, so it's all good. I don't have to do it for real.
yeah.
Again. And I live in a fairy tale all the time.
But you would like to do it. You would like to be able to do it for real. Because I'm not
Yeah.
here to set a goal for you, right? Okay, you would like to. Okay.
I would like,
So
yeah, I would like to be, and her is a biggie, but I mean, friends and my husband, sometimes things happen, and I just can't take a stand and say, I don't like this, and you will not talk to me like this, and this made me feel that way, but I will do it in my head to feel good.
Okay. So I'm not sure that I kind of feel like I want to work on your stuff with your mom first.
Okay.
Because I think that it's the fear of being seen. Like I'm not sure where that. I mean, it fits, but I'm not sure, which layer is under which layer, and maybe, the fear of being seen probably comes from another lifetime. But I'm a very big believer in let's, heal the shit from this lifetime, and then when we have to go into other lifetimes, then we do. But as long as we've got stuff we can identify in this lifetime, let's work on clearing that, right?
Yeah.
Because that is to affect your fear of being seen. Again, you chose those parents because you have the fear of being seen. So it's like a chicken and egg thing. But let's work on the pain, and let's get you to a place where you're comfortable expressing yourself, because you suppressing yourself has to do with how you were brought up as well, right?
Yeah.
Because, if you, like me, were raised with, being elevated all of it at the time for all your quirks and differences, instead of like, I don't get you, so like, shut it down, then it would be different. But then we wouldn't be who we are. And then we wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like, to me, everything that I learn, I can then, it goes back out, right? Like
Yeah.
I can then teach from that space and learn about other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's work on that. Does that make sense? The other thing that you mentioned was the fear. No, you said you had examples of trying stuff that didn't work out.
Yeah, I'm sure I have tons, but I try to have one right now, and I don't know.
So just think about it. We're not going to focus on the fear of failure, though. I mean, it might come up, but we'll put that off to the side for tonight. And then maybe you can just be aware. And then until the next time we work together, if you have any that come up, write them down so that we can work on them.
Okay.
Okay?
Good. Yeah.
Okay, so now do you like, for the setup, do you like doing the tapping on the side of the hand, or do you do the rubbing the sore spot?
I usually do this, but I'm open to everything. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of like the new way of doing it, the newer way, but originally we did it on it's called the sore spot on the chest.
Yeah.
That's where I like doing it, but on the sore spot, so what you do is you find a tender spot in your upper chest, it doesn't matter what side,
Yeah.
and then it's not the tapping though, it's motion.
No, you just rub it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've used it. I've used it already, but yeah.
gentle circular motion. So you can do whichever one you want at this
Okay.
point. And then I'll take you through the tapping if we need to. Sometimes no tapping is needed. Just depends on how it works.
Okay.
Okay, so what would be an example of your mom doing something that you don't like, that you would have liked to say something to her, but you didn't?
Wow. And then nothing comes to mind. Usually I have tons of examples. Um, shit.
Okay,
I have like,
that's okay.
wow.
Why don't? Okay, that's fine.
It's super sneaky. Like it's the way she is and she thinks, and some of her belief system that I dislike. Like she would always talk to the negative. Like instead of that's a super stupid example, but like she would look at my children, and instead of saying, "Oh, thank God they're healthy," she would say, "Oh, can you believe that many children are in hospitals and that all those parents are suffering?" And she would all go into this. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, why are you always focusing on? And she has a tendency to she's navigating all the times in the triangle of tu sais, victime, bourreau, sauveur.
Why?
She's like all the time navigating in this,
Mm-hmm.
and it drives me crazy because I've been there and I got out of this because I decided to work on my wounds, and
Mm-hmm.
she's not willing to work on her wounds. So
Okay, so
every
let's work on
yeah,
that. So that's frustration,
yeah,
anger.
I fuck, and she drinks alcohol way too much, and I when you can hear it in her voice. I know her. You wouldn't know the difference, but I know when she had too much of a drink. And I mean, she would call me and ask me things, and the day after, she would call me and ask me the same thing again if she had never asked me.
Okay,
She takes
so
things so personally, like she takes everything at the first degree. It drives me crazy.
okay,
Yeah.
so we found some stuff. Uh, you're pissed off that
That she won't heal herself. I'm pissed off
that
that she prefers to stay sitting in her own poop.
okay,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay,
she's a victim. She's a big victim, and she's a control freak. I hate it.
okay.
Yeah.
So take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. So rubbing on your sore spot, even though
Even though
I really, really hate it
I really hate it
that she's a victim
that she's a victim,
and she refuses to work on her stuff.
and she refuses to work on her stuff.
She refuses to acknowledge that she has stuff to work on.
She refuses to acknowledge that she has stuff to work on.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I have all of this anger and rage inside of me
Even though I have all this anger and rage inside of me
about my mother
about my mother
and who she is
and who she is
and who she isn't.
and who she isn't.
I'm so pissed off at her
I'm so pissed off at her
for making me this way.
for making me this way.
I'm so angry at her
I'm so angry at her
for making me look at life a certain way.
to make me look at life a certain way. Oh, I have an
And
example now.
okay,
Do you want to keep going, or should I?
yeah, because I was doing it more generally so that
Yeah.
it unblocks memory, right?
Like, yeah, a clear example of it's like I am the mother to her, and she's my child. Like at Easter dinner, like long story short, we had kind of an argument. Not me. My mom had an argument with my husband, and like usual, she took Jocelyn's comment at the first degree, and then it escalated, and my mother-in-law got into it, and my mom was sitting on the couch, and I was just sitting on the another place, and I was watching her, and she started crying, and all she could say, she would literally looking like a 5-year old. She was sitting on the couch, and all she could say was Marie-Noelle, come and get me. Come and get me. Please come and get me. And she was just crying, like, viens me chercher, viens me chercher. And she was just crying, like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. Like, I'm like, whatever. And she was arguing, like, she had a comment with him. And then she started something that she was not willing to finish. She got scared because she was visible. And then I remember she looked just before that, she looked at me and say, Marie-Noelle, what do I say? And I'm like, I don't know. That's your discussion. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what to say. I don't have the answer. And she looked at me and said, I thought you loved me. She said that to me. She don't even remember because she had too much of a drink again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's an example.
Okay, so when you think about that memory, then how does that make you feel?
I was so sad. It made me so, it's a mix of sadness and frustration.
So what's the sad? I'm sad that
I'm sad that
you're sad for her pain.
I'm sad. I'm sad
That
that I have such a relationship with my mother that she's like this. Like I'm sad for her. Yeah, I'm.
you're sad for her, but you're also sad that are you sad that your mother is like your child, like you were saying? You have that sadness that
Well, I literally saw her like that's an example that she has wounds to heal, and she I want her to freaking do something.
so that
I cannot be there and pick her up all the time.
so you want her to heal her wound. Why? So that she stops relying on
Yeah.
you.
So yeah,
So that
yeah.
she can be the mother.
Yeah, and I remember at that same party, like after she started doing this, I had to jump off and be the referee with everybody. I told everybody to shut their mouth. I was red in my face. I was like, Jocelyn, you sit down. My mother-in-law, you sit down. And I had to
Yeah.
explain to them where we come from, and this is why my mother was reacting like this. I
So you're
like I had to come out of my own bubble. She's making me coming out of my comfort zone.
mm,
See? So I had to become visible to save her, and it's not my job to do this. We are the own, I mean, I've learned this that we are responsible for our own emotional states, and she would not. She's a freaking victim, and she would stay there, and everybody needs to come and get her. It's everybody's fault. It's never her fault. And she's in a regret mode so much.
okay. Hang on a second. I want you to realize that you said that she made you come out of your comfort zone.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Okay,
What's wrong?
I just got a call. Okay, that's good.
She made me come out of my comfort zone. She made me be visible
Yeah,
in order to save her,
yeah,
right? So it's just an interesting dynamic because it's to me so clear that this is part of the contract, right? Like this
yeah.
is what
It's the second time it happens. It happens another time, and I felt the
right.
same way.
But that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Like
yeah,
it's part of the contract, right? So at the same time, it's like I'm keeping you, I'm shutting you down, but there's like this thing that keeps. But if you think about it, she made me get visible in order to save her. And what is it that you want to do with your coaching? You need to get visible in order to help other people.
yeah,
But if you have this deep wound inside and you this resentment
yeah,
for that dynamic, then how are you going to actually get out there and do
yeah.
it?
I never feel comfortable in my coaching session. I'm always super stressed, super anxiety is high. I never feel good, so I stopped
About what?
doing it.
Because you're afraid you're going to say the wrong thing and fail.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. That I'm gonna screw that person up. She's not gonna like me, or he not gonna like me.
example, so now we have an example of fear of failure. So I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we're going to go back to the mom thing. Um, anxiety and coaching. Okay, so let's go back to this memory with your mom and the sadness that. Okay,
I was
so
traumatized, literally. It took me a week to get over it. I was
okay,
so traumatized to see her that way, that little child in the sofa crying for her daughter to come and rescue her. I was traumatized. I'm like, oh my!
okay,
I realized that day how how deep she is in her shit. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I didn't want to see it all these years, but it was clear. Like I was traumatized.
and that creates sadness and anger, or more sadness or more anger. So sad for her. So let's work on. Let's start with the
Yeah,
sadness.
yeah,
Go back to your sore spot. We'll touch on all of it.
yeah.
So take a deep breath. Even though I've been carrying all of this sadness
Even though I've been carrying all the sadness
for my mother's pain,
for my mother's pain,
and I'm really, really angry
and I'm really, really angry
that I have to focus on her pain instead of mine.
that I have to focus on her pain instead of mine.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself,
love and accept myself.
even though I have all of this anger inside of me,
Even though I have all this anger inside of me,
because I've always come last.
because I've always come last.
I've never come first with her.
I never come first with her.
I always come second to her pain.
I always come second to her pain.
And that really pisses me off.
And that really pisses me off.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I've been carrying this anger,
Even though I've been having this anger,
because I'm less important than her pain.
because I'm less important than her pain.
She's too caught up in her pain to see me.
She's too caught up in her pain to see me.
And it's been creating pain of my own.
It's been creating pain of my own.
I just want her to see me,
I just want her to see me,
to be my parent,
to be my parent,
to be my responsible parent,
to be my responsible parent,
who takes care of her own shit,
who takes care of her own shit,
who takes care of me.
who takes care of me.
And I'm really, really angry
And I'm really, really angry
and tired
and tired
of being the parent,
of being the parent,
parenting myself,
parenting myself,
having to take care of myself.
having to take care of myself.
It's time for me to let go of that pain now.
It's time for me to let go of that pain,
All of the anger that I've been feeling
all that anger that I've been feeling
about my mother being in her stuff,
about my mother being in her stuff,
and relying on me to save her.
and relying on me to save her.
I'm letting go of that pain now.
I'm letting go of that pain now.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I'm releasing it now.
I'm releasing it now.
My expectations of her,
My expectations of her,
I'm letting it all go.
I'm letting it all go.
Across all lifetimes and all dimensions,
From this lifetime in all dimensions,
wherever this pain comes from,
wherever this pain comes from,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I take a deep breath. How does that feel?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how is the anger now? The anger or the I kind of went all over the place, but that's how I do it
That's fine. That's fine.
because I'm channeling. So how does that feel now when you go back? How's the sadness? How's the anger? What's left?
What's left?
So tell me, and you were sitting at dinner or something at Easter?
Easter brunch at my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about something, and then Jocelyn just made a comment, and she made a comment as well. My husband is a very straightforward and direct person, So you gotta you gotta know him and be careful to kind of learn how to get the way he talk. It's never personal. It's just the way he's when he talks about something that is important for him. He sometimes he has a way that is really too much. It's too much direct. I tell him, but with my mother, it just went down on her. So she sat down and decided not to talk anymore. Well, she got back at him and told him something. And at one point, she just realized that she couldn't fight him, whether it was not a fight, but it hit her wounds like deeply.
Okay.
So she decided to shut down.
Yeah.
And she wanted to leave with my dad.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law would not let her leave. And then it came to a point that my mom just shut down completely, and she was just sitting on a couch crying like a little 5-year-old, asking me to go and rescue her.
So now when you think about that,
Yeah,
what comes up?
it's fucking pathetic.
Your mother's pathetic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's anger?
Oh, there's still anger a little because I can't believe she would do that. I mean,
So you're angry. So now you're angry at her for making a scene?
yeah, I'm I'm angry at her because well, she drank too much that day.
Okay, so let's work on that.
She drank too much, and there's a bit of shame as well. I was ashamed of her reaction.
Okay. Okay. So go on your sore spot. Okay, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay. Even though I still have all of this anger inside of me.
I still have all the anger inside. I'm mad at my dad too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's clear up your mom and then
yeah.
Dad. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I'm really angry at my mom.
Even though I'm really angry at my mom.
For drinking too much that day.
For drinking too much that day to my mother-in-law's place. I mean, do it in your own backyard, but not at others' places.
Okay. And embarrassing me.
Embarrassing me.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Take a deep breath. Even though I have all of this shame.
Even though I have all of this shame.
About my mother's behavior.
About my mother's behavior.
Her drinking and her behavior.
Her drinking and her behavior.
With my family.
With my family.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I'm really pissed off.
Even though I'm really pissed off.
That she can't respect me enough.
That she can't respect me enough.
To stay sober.
To stay sober.
To be present.
To be present.
And to be a grown-up.
To be a grown-up.
To be a role model.
To be a role model.
To be my mother.
To be my mother.
It really makes me angry.
It really makes me angry.
That she's not the mother I need her to be.
That she's not the mother I need her to be.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And even though I'm angry at myself.
And even though I'm angry at myself.
For choosing her.
For choosing her.
To be my mother.
To be my mother.
What was I thinking?
What was I thinking?
When I chose her to be my mother.
When I chose her to be my mother.
I'm releasing all of that anger now.
I'm releasing all of that anger now.
It's time for me to let it go.
It's time for me to let it go.
I chose her for a reason,
I chose her for a reason,
and I want to walk through this pain now.
and I want to walk through this pain now.
Walk through the anger,
Walk through the anger,
letting it go,
letting it go.
through the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
Through the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
I'm ready to release this anger
I'm ready to release this anger
and this pain
and this pain
of not being fully supported
of not being fully supported
by my parents
by my parents
and by myself.
and by myself.
I haven't been supporting myself
I haven't been supporting myself
for whatever reason,
for whatever reason.
and it's time for me to let that go too.
It's time for me to let that go too.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Take a deep breath. So did that make sense, what I just said about the supporting yourself?
Yeah, it came to me that I'm doing exactly what she's doing. I'm hiding, she's hiding. I've learned to hide.
That's exactly
My that side of my family, my mom and dad, I've called them the master of hiding. They would hide
yeah,
things. They would show things, but they were imposters. Like all the shit
yeah,
that was behind, like everything that we discovered during the years that we had, at least two of my cousin were sexually assaulted by my uncle during Christmas parties. I mean, stuff like that.
hmm
That's been going on, but the front was like, we have money, we are a family, we see each other. Yeah, all those stuff. Like,
This is your parent.
yeah, my dad's family, my mom was just different. Like they wouldn't just talk. Like my grandmother was not a talking person. She was a victim too.
Okay.
Like she would sit in front. Like she was old. She stayed for a while with us when I was young because she was old and she injured herself, and she started having like hearing problems. And she was the kind of person that would sit in front of the TV watching a movie with us.
hmm
The sound was not loud enough for her to hear, but she would sit through the movie 2 hours and she wouldn't say anything. She
hmm
was afraid to nous déranger.
hmm
She was the
So
kind of
you're,
person, yeah, she was the kind of person like if there's not enough food, just I'm not gonna eat. See,
yeah,
that type of person. But that's the
yeah.
generation. I can see where she comes from. I mean,
You're,
yeah,
you're carrying the transgenerational information.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, okay. So go back to the memory of her. So the last thing we were working on was your anger,
Yeah,
that the embarrassment, the anger at her drinking and the shame.
yeah.
Is that still there? So think back to that memory and her outburst and her reaction and the fact that she had been drinking.
But I mean, I wouldn't say that the shame is completely gone. Like when is this gonna happen again? This is what I'm
Oh,
thinking.
so is it okay? So that would be the fear that it's going to happen again.
It
And
if nobody does it, sorry.
but the shame is still there. You're saying. So tell me.
I don't feel it though. I don't feel it. It's just irrational things for me to say. If like I look at my sofa right behind the screen and I like if I would be reliving the thing, I'm not feeling the shame right now, but my question is when it's gonna happen again, and I would have to face this again.
Okay, so then we're working on the fear that it's going to happen again.
It will. I mean, if nothing changed, it's gonna happen again.
So then you have to release your reaction to it, right? Or like you say, talk to her and say, this isn't okay. That's a decision that you have to make, right? But it's a decision that you need to make when you're in your own place of healing. You can't do it from your place of pain.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
you understand that, right? So you have to get your own place of being at peace with something, and then you decide, well, how do I deal with it? Do I say, look, you can't come if you're drunk? If you drink, don't come. If you can, or say,
And that's where the feeling of I can't say that to her because you do not say such things to your parents. I cannot raise my voice to my mom and dad. That's a no-go. We don't do this in our family.
why?
I was raised like this.
Right. But
You do
can have
not.
those, you can have that conversation without raising your voice, but it sounds like did she raise her voice during this interaction at Easter?
No, no, she didn't.
She did?
No, it's just the way of that side of the family way of dealing with stuff is when stuff arises, we would do anything just to get the fire out and we'll hide the whole thing. Because the day after, she took my daughter, my oldest, that same day she took her to her place for a sleepover and she had to come and bring her back to our house the next day, and I wasn't there because I left for Ottawa when they came, and she didn't want. I know she didn't want to come and face Jocelyn.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just didn't want to face it, and Jocelyn is.
If that happened and that she'd been drinking, then why did you send your daughter? I mean, why did your daughter go for the sleepover?
That's a good question. She had asked me during the day if I wanted her to take Sky home.
So that's just another example of you selling yourself out.
Yeah.
For the peace and for,
I mean,
right?
she'd been drinking, but she wasn't drunk. Like, and she wasn't driving, and my dad was okay. So
Yeah.
but I mean, she was, elle était affectée par l'alcool, her judgment, because if she had been like straight sober, she would not have cried like this.
Still in a way, and I'm not telling you this because I'm not judging it. I'm just pointing it out to you, right? Because you're still in a way like rewarding the behavior.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the issue of
Of not being in your power.
not being able to say, "Hey, mom, I don't like this part of you." If I
Yeah.
say that, I'm everything to my mom. I'm the world. If I don't exist or if I hurt her, she's gonna die. One day
Okay.
on the phone, she told me, and I know she doesn't remember that, but she was not feeling good, and she literally told me, like, if something happened to me, she would kill herself.
Okay.
And my brother, at one point, there's a fight in the family between my brother and my parents, and my brother decided to, I don't know, couper les ponts,
Yeah. Cut them off. Yeah.
burn the bridges, we say in English, or cut the bridge. I don't know. Anyway, and they don't see them, and they don't see the kids. So I'm the only child left. All the pressure is on me. Like I'm
Okay.
the reason why they live. Me and my kids.
Okay. So, what do you know what time it is?
It is 9:15.
Okay. So we'll do a little bit more, but I mean, considering, at the beginning we were like, oh, where are we going to go? There's a lot to work with, right?
I know.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. So I want you to, so let's work on, that's why I wasn't necessarily jumping at like the fear of being seen, because there's so much to unpack with your parents
Mm-hmm.
that will, except for anything that's in past lives, that's going to open itself up on its own, right? So as we're releasing those layers of pain, you naturally, your natural state of love and peace and being in your power emerges on its own, right? It's not something that you have to implant. right?
Uh-huh.
It just merges by itself as you release all of this stuff. So that's why, for me, it's more important that we find what that pain is and then release it piece by piece and let the other stuff emerge. And then when you still have those particular fears, then yeah, you go into wherever you have to go
Yeah.
to keep releasing it, right? Okay, so let's do a little bit more, and then we'll stop for tonight. So
Okay.
take a deep breath into your nose, out through your mouth. So when you think about this, the time at Easter, in terms of your mother, you said you're mad at your dad too, but in terms of your mother, the only thing that's left is the fear that it's going to happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna happen again, and I'm not gonna stand. I'm not gonna stand for what I believe again. So
So okay,
it's a never-ending story.
so on your source book, even though I'm really angry at myself
Even though very angry at myself
for not standing up for myself,
for not standing up for myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I have all of this fear of hurting her,
Even though I have all of this fear of hurting her,
of breaking her heart,
of breaking her heart
by being me
by being me
and expressing myself,
and expressing myself,
being in my truth,
being in my truth.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I have all of this fear,
Even though I have all of this fear
that being me will hurt her,
that being me will hurt her,
that expressing my needs will cause her pain.
that express my needs will cause her pain. I'm not going to be the golden child to her eyes, something like that.
Okay, even though I have the... C'est quoi en français, tu dirais?
Se la décevoir?
You're going to disappoint her?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you meant when you said the
No.
golden child?
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is...
C'est pour ça que dis-moi en français.
C'est le fait que they exist because I exist. So if I
Yeah.
hurt them, then I will be the cause of their pain.
Okay. I think this might take us to another lifetime. So just be aware of anything that comes up.
Okay.
In terms of your relationship with them in this dynamic, okay?
Since I'm the only one left,
You're responsible for their lives, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what's heavy, okay? Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Even though I have all of this fear,
Even though I have all of this fear,
that I'm going to be responsible for their pain
that I'm going to be responsible for their pain
and their death,
and their death,
completely responsible for their lives
completely responsible for their life
and their deaths.
and their death.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
And all of this fear that I have,
All of this fear that I have,
all of this pain that I have,
all of this pain that I have,
about causing them pain,
about causing them pain
and killing them
and killing them
just by being me
just by being me
and expressing my needs.
and expressing my need. I have no rights of being me. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't brought in to be me. I was brought in to be... I have toy that come in my mind, but it's not toy, to be an object of some sort.
Okay. Even though
even though
I wasn't brought in to be me.
I wasn't brought in to be me.
I have no right to be me.
I have no right to be me.
I'm here to please them
I'm here to please them
and to lessen their pain a little bit.
and to lessen their pain a little bit.
And that will never work.
And that will never work.
I'm set up for failure
I'm set up for failure
because I can't fix somebody else's pain.
I can't fix somebody else's pain.
Nobody can fix anybody else's pain.
Nobody can fix nobody else's pain. I feel that I was in a previous life, though.
Okay. You were what? You were fixing other people's pain?
I was something along that I was brought in to fix something. I don't know, a type of era where they would use kids for something,
Okay.
like those days when if you give one of your child, you're safe,
Okay.
like in a kingdom or something.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just a feeling, but
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
sacrifice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though I was brought in
Even though I was brought in
with a specific purpose,
with a specific purpose
fixing something
or fixing something
in that other lifetime,
in another lifetime,
whatever that was,
whatever that was,
I'm working on releasing that now.
I'm working on releasing that now.
I have the power now
I have the power now
to heal that pain,
to heal that pain,
and it's time for me to let it go.
and it's time for me to let it go.
Were you a boy or a girl?
I feel a girl,
Okay.
but I don't know. But I also have the feeling of, I don't know if in a certain time they would give their firstborn
Okay.
like a male, and that first boy was meant for something, like it
Okay.
was obvious that it was this.
Okay. But you were a girl?
No, basis. I don't want to try to be rational here. I just want to.
Just go with a feeling. That's why I'm saying.
The feeling is boy,
Okay.
that I was a firstborn,
Okay.
and then I mean, from the second I was born, I was deemed to be given away for the sake of my family's security,
Okay.
to go fight or to go, I don't know, for a certain sacrifice.
Okay.
I was raised somewhere else, and they had to give me away so they could be safe.
Okay. So even though they had to give me away to be safe,
Even though they had to give me away to be safe,
they had me to help themselves
they had me to help themselves
for whatever reason.
for whatever reason.
They needed to have me,
They needed to have me,
and my entire purpose in being there
and my entire purpose of being there
was to save them.
was to save them.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
So what's the pain that you're feeling right now when you're tuning into that? What is that boy feeling?
I was just thinking of, because I ask myself the question, well, if it was the first male born, then why am I feeling the pain as a girl in this lifetime? And I was like,
Mm.
well, my brother ran away, so I'm the only one left. So I had to carry the whole thing because my brother didn't take it. He left before it was too late for him.
Mm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
stuck with this. I was just thinking about this,
Mm-hmm.
but the feeling is oh my God, is the feeling of being an object, like I don't matter. And maybe this is why I had to invent myself in a world so I could freaking survive.
Okay. So even though I meant nothing to my parents,
Even though I meant nothing to my, I think I do meant something, but it was terrible for them too to give me away. Like when they, I mean, there was no ultrasound these days in those days, so they learned I was a boy and they had to give me away.
oh, so they didn't have a choice. So it's not
No,
like they,
no, they didn't have a choice.
so that's different. So it's not, you didn't come in specifically to be given away.
Well, that soul came in knowing that it was a boy and it will be given away, but my parents did not know
Okay.
until I was born, and they realized I was a boy and they had to give me away for their own sake because
Okay.
everybody was giving their firstborn male.
Okay. Okay.
This is the story that comes up. I
Yes,
mean,
it's
yeah,
totally fine. So even though
even though
my parents had to give me away
my parents have had to give me away
because I was a boy,
because I was a boy.
I deeply and completely love, oh, even though I caused them pain
Oh, yeah. Even though I caused them pain.
by being who I was,
Oh, by being who I was.
I
Yeah.
deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself, and now I'm a girl, so I have to stick around.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And your brother ran away.
Yeah, he left. He left the boat.
Because the dynamic won't,
And
you know what I mean?
I'm a second born. He's the firstborn, my brother.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
left.
yeah,
He was tired of being manipulated by my mom and dad, and he left.
right,
And I stayed to fix everything.
right. So even though
Even though
my parents had to give me away
my parents had to give me away
because I was a boy,
because I was a boy,
I caused them pain
I caused them pain
by being who I was.
by being who I was.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
and I'm releasing that now.
And I'm really seeing that now
Across all lifetimes,
across all lifetime,
all dimensions,
all dimensions.
I'm learning from it.
I'm learning from it.
Whatever happened,
Whatever happened,
wherever it happened,
wherever it happened,
it's okay for me to let it go,
it's okay for me to let it go,
to take whatever I need to take from that,
to take whatever I need to take from that,
and to heal what needs to be healed.
and to heal what needs to be healed.
Forgiving myself for being a boy
Forgiving myself for being a boy
and causing them pain.
and causing them pain.
Because even in that lifetime,
Because even in that lifetime,
we were doing what we were supposed to be doing,
we were doing what we were supposed to be doing,
fulfilling our contract,
filling our contract,
doing what we're supposed to be doing.
doing what we're supposed to be doing.
And even though I created pain in them
Even though I created pain in them
for being a boy,
for being a boy,
being myself hurt them,
being myself hurt them.
and I learned that it wasn't safe for me to be me,
And I learned that it wasn't safe for me to be me,
that being me causes pain.
that being me causes pain.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And I'm releasing all of that now
I'm releasing all of that now
through the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
to through the multi-dimensional layers of my DNA.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Take a deep breath. Mhm. How does that feel?
Weird. Je pense que j'ai plus de peau sur mon sore spot.
Ouais, t'es pas supposé taper trop
Non,
fort.
je sais bien, mais je suis pas habituée de le faire là. It makes sense.
Sure, if you want to, but
Yeah.
so if you go back to that memory of being the boy who's given away
Yeah.
and your parents' pain, and see if there's anything left there. How is the boy? How does he feel? Tune into the.
I don't feel anything right now.
Okay.
It's like the image is just froze in time. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
So you're not connecting to it anymore, or it's just not moving.
Just not connecting.
Okay, well that's good because to me that's just like a memory, a memory in this lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And you of the charge around it, then you
Uh-huh.
often people can't connect to the memory anymore, right? It just kind of goes away. So, but you're aware of it, so you may find yourself connecting to that boy again, maybe, and who knows? Done, and maybe some other element of it will come
I feel that
forth.
there may be something later in the life
Yeah.
of that boy, but it's another story probably. So
Okay.
not sure
So
what. So yeah.
that's why I'm saying, because I was going to ask you, like, find out what happens later. So,
I have the feeling maybe it's connected to the military, that he was sent away for becoming a soldier of some sort, and that was a place to hide. So that he was among other people, so he was never seen. He was just,
he was also among other people like him, right?
but he was part of an army.
Yeah.
But in the army, everybody's dressed the same. Everybody's doing the same thing. You don't have a personality. Like, no, I erased that. You do have a personality, but it's more about being all
We're
the
not
same.
also not talking about this lifetime. We're talking about his experience in
Yeah.
the army in that lifetime, and in that lifetime, maybe that was what it was like, that they didn't have their own personality. So it's not a reflection
Yeah.
of
But
the
it's just
experience.
that everybody is the same, so it's hard to stand out when you're in the ranks and you're just doing the soldier job or yeah.
So, are you okay to finish this up, or do you want to stop now? Are you too tired, or are you okay?
Uh,
Because
but it doesn't seem to be an issue though. I'm just trying to connect the pain with it. I mean, he was sent away without knowing because he was a small baby. He was
yeah.
sent away to become something that seems to be belonging in an army, being a soldier or something like that. And I just trying to see if there's pain there or if it's just okay to be that.
Okay.
It's just normal for him to do that because he was raised to become this. So I don't know if it's an issue or not.
Well, let's leave it. Let's
Yeah.
write this down because I think we need to go back to it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think there is something there because you can see that you can see the parallel with your current life, and I can see where, of course,
Yeah.
I think there's a part of you that's resisting connecting to it because that's what's keeping you safe, right? So if you think about it, he was when you said like he was raised to do that,
Ouais.
like it's the same thing as you saying in this lifetime, I've been raised to be this for my parents.
Ouais. I've always said
The thing that we're working on is the fear of being seen. So
I know I've joined the military in this lifetime because I wanted to hide.
right.
But in the same way, it's weird because I became an officer, so I'm not in the ranks, I'm leading. So
Hmm.
I'm hiding and not hiding at the same time.
Hmm.
So this is the duality I'm living with since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just again, I don't want to put words in your mouth,
Yeah.
but my feeling is there's some resistance there to really going to what the dynamic with that, even if there's not pain,
Yeah.
there's a dynamic there that I think we need to maybe dialogue with
Uh-huh.
and clear. So, and
Okay.
you're probably getting tired, so we'll stop for now. I'm just going to write down. I mean, we're recording it, but
Yeah.
okay. So we'll stop for now. If you want to stop recording it, and then
Yeah.
just stay for a second. Okay.
So stop